Recording in progress.
Please join me in Gasho. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs.
Welcome everyone to our December monthly memorial service or Shotsuki service, and welcome to those who have joined us via Zoom. We'll start the service with silent meditation.
Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs.
Reverend Grant, lead us in the homage and the three treasures, please.
You'll find the homage and three treasures on the screen for those of you who are joining by Zoom. And for those that are joining at the Hundo, it's on page 11 of your Seitan. Homage. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we are hearing them. If we do not gain emancipation in the present life, we may not be free from sorrow in the ocean of births and deaths. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures. So I'm going to read it first, and everyone repeat after me, please. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of kalpas, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us try to understand the Tathagata's teachings. And we will read the Japanese, which you'll find on page 10 for those that read Japanese. 日本語の3期問をいただきたいと思います。聖典の10ページに載っています。Zoom で参加されている方は画面に載っています。3期問、第3問。人参受けがたし、今すでに行く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってどせずんば。さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に帰依し立てまするべし。自ら仏に帰依し立てまする。まさに願わくは主情とともに大道を体現して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に帰依し立てまする。まさに願わくは主情とともに深く共造に入りて知恵海のごとくなら、自ら僧に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに大衆を通りして一切無限なら。無常人人未明の方は百千万号にも愛ようことがたし、我今検問し、授受することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナモンドス、ナモンドス、ナモンドス。
We shall now have the sutra chanting, Sambujo and Sambutsuge. And during the chanting, I shall call the names of the families, loved ones who have passed away during the month of December. And if you are coming up for the second or third time to do Oshoko, just come forward and gasho. Thank you.
So Sambujo is on page 89, and for those, it's also on the screen as well. Naman nobs, naman nobs, naman nobs, naman nobs. Please join me in reading the English translation of this, and you'll see it on your screen there. It is in your Seitan, but it's a little different in the Seitan version. We respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome Shakyamuni Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy.三仏憲政の小学を仰ぎ、謹んでスティーブストン仏教会2022年12月小月法要を言修す。如来栄光の真実心をもって法恩の誠をいたし、仏徳を賛嘆したてまつる。願わくは如来の大慈大悲心をもって無料の功徳を一切主情の上に栄光下回らんことをナモキエ仏、ナモキエ法、ナモキエソウ。This morning we have gathered here in the quietude of Amida's temple to commemorate the December 2022 Shotsuki monthly memorial service to remember all our loved ones who have passed on during this month of December. We faithfully recite the Nembutsu and humbly join our hands in Gassho. May the fragrance of incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of the glory of the Dharma. And may the lights that burn brightly upon the altar lead our thoughts to Amida's eternal light of wisdom and boundless compassion that dispels the darkness of our ignorance. にのし
片山黒助
人道具無
川崎
料
静子木村清小林近藤小柳ルビ小柳中蔵倉本二郎前川内家松山洋向井ジョージ誠志森清森下紀野森下米中根光太郎
Yeah.
Sakai Frank Yonekazu, Sakai Yoshiko, Sakamoto Jin Harumi,
No one loves, no one loves, no one loves, no one loves. Please join me in reading the English translation of the Sambutsuge, which you'll find on page 79 of your purple Seiten. Sambutsuge praises of Buddha. O thou of eminent countenance and immeasurable light, whose dignity is limitless and incomparable. No other light can shine presence. Even the brightness of the sun and moon and many jewels seem like a heap of the Tathagata is incomparable in this world.
The voice of the enlightened one is an infinite sound and reverberates throughout the 10 quarters. His morality and
Meditation, wisdom, and virtue are of the highest, with no comparison in this world. The Tathagata deeply meditates on the Dharma of the Buddhas, which is as deep and as wide as the ocean. He fully understands its depth and breadth. Of ignorance, greed, and anger, the world-honored one has none. The divine virtues of the man of lion, Tathagata, is immeasurable. The virtues of the Tathagata are innumerable and broad. His knowledge is deep. His mystic light illuminates the 1,000 worlds. I, Dhammakara Bodhisattva, after attending for his effort, meditation, and wisdom shall be of the best. Becoming a Buddha shall the vow and give peace and tranquility to all who are full of fear. Even though there are hundreds of thousands of millions of Buddhas, countless of the sands of the Ganges, and even were I to pay homage to these Buddhas, it is better to seek the path and not retreat. The innumerable and countless worlds of the Buddhas, numbered in the sands of the Ganges, shall be illuminated by my light. Thus my efforts and powers are immeasurable. When I become a Buddha, my land will be the first and the best. The inhabitants there shall be most superior, the teaching area the most excellent. My country will be like nirvana and will be without equal. In my mercy I shall emancipate all. Beings come from the 10 quarters, and they will arrive with a pure and rejoicing heart. They shall know happiness and peace in my land. O Buddha, be my witness, this is my sincere feeling. I have made these vows and shall strive towards their fruition. The absolute wisdom of the honored one of the 10 quarters is unbeaten. May the honored one know my intent, Even though my body may undergo eternal suffering and pain, my efforts shall never cease, and I shall have no regrets. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Yukawa Katsue. And if there are people here who have loved ones passed away other than in Steveston during the month of December, please come forward. Shall now have the Dharma discourse by Ikuta Sensei.
I'd like, I'd like to begin my Dharma talk now. Can everybody hear me on Zoom? Yes? Okay, good. Can everybody hear me here in the Hondo? Yes, good. Well, welcome everyone, and I'm going to do both an English and Japanese talk, but before we begin, I'd like to ask you, please join me in 合唱。それでは合唱で、お話を始めさせていただきたいと思います。Naman loves, naman loves, naman loves. Which to do first. So I'm going to say a few words in Japanese first, and then give my talk in English afterwards. If you don't understand Japanese, you can look at my face if you want, or you can even look out at Wisteria Place, whichever you prefer. それでは日本語でまず最初に法話をして、それから英語で法話をしたいと思います。一番最初にご三代をいただきますので、少々お待ちください。それでは皆さん合唱お願いします。慎んで浄土真宗を案ずるに、二種のエコーあり、一つには王相、二つには幻想なり、王相のエコーについて真実の教行真証あり。ナマンノブス、ナマンノブス。皆さんようこそ、12月の正月法要にお参りしていただきました。今月からは、この正月を合同礼拝にして、英語と日本語10時半から始めさせていただいています。その説明はもう以前しましたので、ここではしません。ただいまいただいた、ご三代はですね、親鸞上人、ご解散、親鸞上人がお書きになった、教行真証の、教門類っていう、教えについての説なんですが、その一番頭にある文章なんですね。慎んで浄土真宗を案ずるに、二種のエコーあり、二つのエコーがあるって言ってるんですね。一つには王相というのはお浄土に行く王相エコーっていうんですが、二つには幻想、お浄土から戻ってくるエコーっていうのがあると。そしてその王相エコー、お浄土に行くためには、真実の教行真証、教えと行と信心と、悟りがあると。ね。そういうことを、親鸞書に書かれております。で、これはどういうことかと申しますと、この、私たち、お釈迦様の話を聞いてですね、お釈迦様は、私たちに何を教えてたかというと、一番はですね、この苦しみ、迷いの世の中から下脱方法。ここからどうやって、苦しみをなくすかっていうのが一番だったんですね。で、それにはですね、様々な方法が、お釈迦様自身が八万四千の道があると。八万四千の数多くの道があるっていうんですね。その中でですね、だんだん、お釈迦さんが亡くなった後に、仏教がですね、だんだん形をとってですね、修行をするのが普通になったわけなんです。で、その、親鸞上人という方が生まれた当時には、もう、すでに、お釈迦さんが亡くなって、だいたい2000年近く経ってたわけなんですね。1500年ぐらいですかね。で、その、親鸞上人が生まれた時には、もう、普通に考えると、この、悟りを開くためには、やはり、出家して、お寺に、僧侶として修行しなければならない。修行に励まなければならないということになってたんですが、親鸞上人もそれを20年間やってみたんですね。でもやっても、いくらやっても、どうしてもこの、自分の迷いっていうのが、消えなかったわけなんです。で、そこでですね、ある時に親鸞上人が、この阿弥陀様の御教えが、もっと自分に対して楽に生きる道があるのではないかっていう
楽っていうか、自分を受け入れてくれる道があるっていうことを、親鸞上人が、法然上人との出会いで教えていただいたわけですね。それが念仏の道。この、阿弥陀仏の願いを私たちを聞いてですね、そのまま自分の、煩悩でありながら、持ちながらですね、救われる道。それが南無阿弥陀仏の道ではないかっていうことを気づいたわけです。ですから、私たちがこの浄土真宗の教え、私たちの、本山をですね、本願寺っていう名前を使いますが、本願は阿弥陀様の本音の願いを聞かせていただく教えである。で、その願いというのは、そのままでいいから私にお任せしてくれませんかっていう願いですね。で、今、この、お浄土に参らすのには、その阿弥陀様の願いを聞き、そしてまた、この文章によりますと、二つの意向があると、一つには応そしてもう一つが幻想という、こちらに戻ってくる意向もある。で、それがですね、この正月の大切な意義がそこにあるわけです。亡くなられた方々が今は阿弥陀様の働きと一緒になって私たちの元へ戻っていただいているわけです。で、その人たちの願いも同じようにこの阿弥陀様の願いを聞いてくださいよ。このままでいいからそのままお任せしていただけるようにと、亡くなられた方々も阿弥陀様の働きと一緒になって働きかけていただいている。そして私たちはこうやって、お参りをさせていただき、その人たちに対しても感謝の心を持ってお念仏を唱えさせていただくのが、この12月の正月法要の大切な意味がそこにあると、そこにあるではないかと思うわけでございます。最後になりますが、もう一度、皆さんと一緒に合唱して、日本語の方は返させていただきたいと思います。南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏。If you fell asleep, please wake up. If you were doing something else on Zoom, please return back to your screen. I'm speaking English now. And I'm going to begin by reading a passage that I just read in Japanese as well. This comes from Shinran Shonin's writings. It's called the true teaching, practice, and realization of the Pure Land Way. And this comes from the first chapter, what we call a chapter on the teachings. And read the first paragraph. Reverently contemplating the true essence of the Pure Land Way, I see that Amita's directing of virtue to sentient beings has two aspects. The aspect for our going forth to the Pure Land and the aspect for our return to this world. In the aspect for going forth, there is the true teaching, practice, shinjin, and realization. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So once again, good morning and welcome to our December Shotsuki monthly memorial service. As I mentioned, starting this month, we're doing the joint services again for the Shotsuki service. But what I wanted to talk to you about today was, first of all, the purpose for our Shotsuki service. And it's written actually right in the passage that I just read. It says here, this is written by Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. This pictures to the right of the statue. And he says that right at the beginning of this very large piece of work that he's written, he says, I see that Amita's directing of virtue to sentient beings has two aspects. The aspect for going forth to the Pure Land and the aspect for our return to this world. Okay. So what does this all mean? Well, first of all, we have to go back to the historical Buddha. The historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, lived approximately 2,500 years ago in northern India. And his goal of what he wanted to do First of all, he wanted to search for enlightenment or peace because he was realizing that there is suffering in his life. And so he went on a spiritual journey. And it was said at the age of 35, he attained enlightenment or became what we call the Buddha, the awakened or the enlightened one. But it wasn't only just for himself that he attained enlightenment. The Buddha also realized that the suffering, he could not rid of suffering just for himself. He had to rid the suffering of all sentient beings. And so the teachings of the Buddha then came about. And he started to teach others how they can also release themselves from their suffering. And so after the Buddha passed away for many centuries, there became a practice that followed. And basically, as it was, this practice was that you had to enter a monastery and become a monk or a nun and follow the teachings as such. But as time went on, the structure became more and more difficult to follow. And in fact, when Shinran was born and he entered a monastery, a place, Mount Hie, northwest of Kyoto, northwest, yeah, and northeast of Kyoto. And he spent 20 years as a monk there. But he realized that the practices were so difficult, and no matter how much he practiced, he couldn't free himself from the ego self. And this is where he came across this teaching of Amida Buddha. So he realized that there was another way, one that wasn't so arduous, one that could be followed by anyone. And that was this teaching of the Onenbutsu. And there was a person at that time by the name of Honen Shonin. Honen was a great monk himself who studied for many years on Mount Hie, but he actually came down from the mountain and was teaching to the general populace a path that anyone could follow. And Shinran realized this was a path for himself. This was a path for anyone. And so in his teachings here, he says there is a true teaching, practice, shinjin, and realization. So the true teaching was the wish or the will of the Buddha, in this case, Amida Buddha. And what is that wish or will? And that is for all sentient beings to hear the name, to hear the wish of the Buddha, the desire of the Buddha to save all beings from suffering, to release all beings from suffering, and to respond to that wish or will with the name of the Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu. This was for Shinran a great release because what it said was he could be himself. This was a will or a wish of great compassion to accept yourself as you are, with all your warts and all your faults. You can still attain enlightenment. You can still be received in great compassion. It is the working of the universe that is constantly working upon us to awaken us to the oneness that exists. And this is what Shinran came to realize. He didn't have to struggle. He didn't have to practice as hard. He just had to open his heart and listen to the calling voice. And this was a great release for him. Now, in the teachings of Amida Buddha, it also says there are two aspects: going forth to enlightenment or to the Pure Land, and coming back. This is also part of the compassion of the Buddha, is that once we do go forth to the Pure Land, we don't just stay there. We return back to those in suffering to help guide those of us who are still here. And so as we gather here for the Shotsuki service, our loved ones are now working together with Amida Buddha to get us to awaken again to this compassionate vow. The vow that says, as I am accepted, just as I am. You know, in our daily lives, it can be very stressful if you, in your work or whatever you're doing in your life, you can have a lot of stress that's put on you. And yet there's a voice or a calling voice that says, don't worry about that. You're accepted. You're okay, just as you are. You're okay, just as you are, and you are received, just as you are. Just hear the calling voice of the universe, the oneness that exists, and realize, as I am embraced in great compassion. And that is the voice of all those who have gone before us as well, who have come back to work on us, to remind us again of this oneness. So as we hear the calling voice of the past into this present, we go forth to the future together with our hands in gasho and recite in gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu. So again, may I please ask you to join me as we put our hands together in gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you very much. Please join me in gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much for that discourse, Sensei. Would you all rise now and we shall sing Ondok-san,
Just
found on page 307.
give me 2 seconds here. Sorry. Change both things. Hang on. Sorry. I have to share that with the screen. Oh, I closed it. Give me 2 seconds here, Genevieve. Oh, what did I do with that? Well, I can't seem to find that. Sorry. What happened? Okay. So for those on Zoom, you don't get the words. Sorry about that.
Please be seated. Before we conclude the service, there's coming events. On Saturday, December the 10th, we will be doing Mochitsuki here, and it will start around 9 o'clock. And if you're available, please come and make mochi. And Sunday, the 11th, the following day, as you can see, the kids' Sangha service will start at 10 o'clock. And then the Bodhi Day service, the day that the Buddha attained enlightenment, that service will start at 10:30. The senior members. And then from there, we will have our annual Bonin Kai. We have Bonin Kai the last 3 years, I guess. The last one was, this will be the start after 2 years of not having it. And it will take place in the Wisteria place in the multi-purpose room. And we will be enjoying some roast beef that Reverend Grant is cooking for us. So if you wish to partake in the Bonin Kai luncheon, tickets are still available, and they will be until tomorrow. Tomorrow's the cutoff date. So please phone the office and contact Keiko. Let her know that you would like to come, and you will would like to get a couple of tickets. Or the semi-annual temple cleanup will take place on the following Sunday after that. That's on the 18th. So if you are available, please come and help us clean the inside of the temple, and clean the windows and such. I would appreciate it. The following day is Christmas Day, and so we will not be having any service here. And New Year's Eve, there will be 2 services, one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for those who are not able to come to the New Year's Eve service, which will be starting from 11:30 that night. And if you do come to that service, you will be ringing in the new year by ringing the bell outside that Roy Sensei rings every Sunday. And you'll be able to strike the gong once. We should have enough people to ring for, I believe, 108 times to bring in the new year. And then we will be a Chambers Day service at 10:30. And we go down to the 21st. And the 21st is the Ho'onko, start of the Ho'onko service. And we will have the Ho'onko Eve service on the Saturday at 3 o'clock. And to that service, we have invited Sensei, Oichi Sensei from Toronto, and he is going to be our guest speaker on Sunday, as well as he will be giving a public lecture on the Saturday at 3 o'clock. So if you're wanting to join, please come to the temple if you wish. Join via Zoom. And then naturally on the Sunday is the most important service for us in the Jodo Shinshu faith, and that's the memorial service for our founder, Shinran. And that's to take place on Sunday at 10:30. So those are the coming events. And this concludes the December monthly memorial service, Shotsuki. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And thank you to Rat Sensei and Akune Sensei for officiating. Thank you, everyone.
Before you come up to get your homeos and make sure you get the right one, I just wanted to let you know, we are still having some technical issues with our audio system. So when I'm using this mic that I'm at, or the mic that my uncle's at, or the mic that's on our Onaijin, it picks up the voice okay, but this is when we're trying to broadcast it on Zoom. it doesn't pick up the sound of the bell. And so for 2 days this week, I had the technician come in here, look at it. I tried all sorts of different things. I even went to a computer store to try to figure out what was going on. And nobody can find out the answer. I can pick up the sound of the bell when I use the mic on my laptop. So as I'm sitting up there, I'm constantly changing back and forth. When we're chanting, I put on the microphone of the laptop, and then when my uncle is talking over there, or if I'm talking here, I have to switch back. So it's kind of a pain in the neck, but that's what we're going through right now. So thank you for being patient with us, and people on Zoom as well. Thank you for being patient with us. I hope you were able to hear the chanting this morning, because we did use the mic on the laptop. Anyway, so thank you all for joining us, and hope to see you next week for the Bodhi Day and the Boninkai. Thank you. Slaman. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Reverend. Yeah, yeah.